Weston here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Cathie Wood. She's buying the dip on Tesla. She bought 132,000 Tesla shares. So good old Cathie Wood, she is the OG of the 2020 and 2021 bull market, the original gambler. Nah, she's all right. Good old Cathie Wood, she's all right. But she bought the dip on Tesla. What are my thoughts on it? So based on today with the charts, I don't know. Like, I'm actually going against her. Based on technical analysis, what I see is I think this is more of a distribution pattern. Like, if we're looking at this, it seems like it's really rounding over to me. It looks like Tesla is potentially in the works for a head and shoulder pattern, which is one of the worst patterns for a bullish stock. If you want to be a bull, you don't want to see a head and shoulder at all. So I believe, if we start coming down to these equal lows here, equal to this level over here, then, I might get a little bit of a bounce, and then we start attacking these lows at 180, and that creates the base of the head and shoulder. If we crack down below that, then, it's going to start the downwards trend. So overall, it's interesting with Tesla because there has been relative strength with Tesla. It's actually held up pretty well considering the market conditions. And I feel like this is where Cathie Wood is potentially getting confused. So this is an interesting one. Cathie Wood, she has a big team behind her. I know she also has guys that are doing the technical analysis for her that are helping her, trade around positions and all of that. But yeah, let's start going and breaking down the story in my eyes. So this is just my thoughts and opinions. This is not financial advice. It's just if someone had a gun to my head, I would rather be a bear. And personally, I have sold my Tesla shares for now. Long term, I am bullish though, and I do agree with a lot of what Cathie Wood says. But I guess, we do have slightly different styles. So anyway, Tesla, they did the IPO back in like 2010. Started off at like $1, went all the way up to $2, and it was in this range for quite some time until about 2013. And then we broke out of that range. Now, let's put the line in the sand here. Then, once we broke out, everybody was in a profit. When everybody's in a profit at all-time highs, everybody gets extremely happy. When everybody's extremely happy, what are they likely to do? Tell their friends and family to buy as well because they're in a profit. And then what happens? The market starts to pump, and it pumps like crazy over the next couple of years, and it eventually goes from $2-ish, so under $3, all the way up to $20. So that's like practically a 10x. So a 10x in just over a year, that's extremely quick. Now, what followed after that? You kind of got to think like 10x. Did the actual company itself 10x in that time frame? No way. So then stocks, they can correct in two different ways. They can correct in either coming down in price or going sideways. If they're going sideways and staying at the same price, then that allows the internals of the company to compound larger and larger and larger and catch up with the valuation. So that's exactly what happened with Tesla from 2014 all the way until literally like just a few years ago, 2019, it was practically in this range and it did nothing. Then eventually in 2020, in the bull market, during COVID, it broke out above the price of $25. But the thing is, we had like practically, what's that, 6 years or so of Tesla doing absolutely nothing. Now we broke out of that at $25, and let's see what happened next. We went up even more. So it's from $25 all the way to 450. You can practically almost call it $500. Like that's almost like a 20x. So it's even bigger returns, and the company is larger. Now, does that make sense to you? To me, that screams bubble. It just happened way too quick. I believe it's mainly based on Elon Musk. He became the richest person in the world. He gained so much power on Twitter and all of that. All of his calls, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, all of that stuff, everything he said, people jumped in, they put money there where their mouth was, and they pumped the price and they made a profit. Since then, though, all of those calls, they have gone down in value. But the last one that he is holding up is Tesla. And I just believe there is just sadly too much of the retail traders still in this stock. It's the only stock they haven't lost on just yet. You know, they've lost across the board in crypto, across the board in NFTs. And usually, based on what you learn with a lot of these textbooks, is sadly they have to enter a loss first. They need to capitulate. And that's when the smart money comes in, buys the dip, and they swap with them, and then it heads up higher. So I don't think they've capitulated just yet. So I'm not 100% sure, is Tesla price going to come down? I think it will, or I think it's going to take quite a long time for the fundamentals of the business to catch up to the reality. Another thing that gives me confidence is like if we just draw in a line at all-time high, like how scared am I of like missing out on a 3x like anytime soon, like from $400 to like over 1,000 to like 1,200. I just don't see it coming. Like I just can't see it happening right now. So I really believe in this time of when they're raising interest rates and all of that, it just makes sense that nothing is going to break out really hard like all the stuff was in 2020. So right now the base case for me is there's so many people that were buying in on here when Elon Musk was gaining all of his power on Twitter and all of that. All of those people, they have dollar cost averaged up into the top, and now their average buy price, I believe, is roughly around this area of probably around 180 to 200. Now, as soon as the price starts going below there, that's when all of retail will now finally be in a loss, and that's when sentiment shifts. Everyone becomes unhappy, and that's when they start to sell off. And like I was saying in the last video, the lower you go, the lower you can go, because you hit a point where people just start to, they get too scared and they just give up. They're like, I'm out of here. Some people it's 30%, some people it's 50%, some people it's 60%. But that's why at the ends of those corrections, you do sometimes get a big major crash and a big V bottom reversal. That is just fear.